After I left that house, I thought it was over. Derek was in prison, the daughter was in custody, the meat was destroyed. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. It started with small things. I'd wake up at 3 in the morning and hear someone breathing in my apartment. Not loud, just steady, rhythmic breathing from the other end of the room. I'd turn on the lights, no one. But the breathing didn't stop. It just got quieter, like it was hiding. I told myself it was stress. I was wrong. A week later, Derek's wife called me. She was crying. She said he was back, not physically, but she heard his voice at night whispering from the walls. I drove to her house. It was too quiet inside. Even the clock wasn't ticking. Then I noticed the dog. The golden retriever who'd been loyal for 8 years was now sitting in the corner, growling at the empty space in the middle of the living room. Not loud, just a low, constant rumble in his chest. Like he could see something we couldn't. I asked where her daughter was. She said the girl was in the hospital, that she'd stopped speaking, that she just stared at the wall and stayed silent. I drove to the hospital. The daughter sat on the bed. She was 12, but she looked 100. Hollow eyes, pale face. She stared at the wall exactly the way Derek had stared in that living room. Not moving, not blinking, just staring. I sat across from her and asked how she was feeling. She turned her head and looked at me. Then she said, "Rachel." I didn't understand. I asked what she meant. She said it again, "Rachel. That's my name. I'm not Emma. I was never Emma. Emma died in the mountains 15 years ago. I came instead." My skin turned to ice. I asked who she really was. She smiled and said, "I am the silence. I've always been here. I was just waiting for someone to open the door." I remembered Derek's journal, how he wrote about the silence as if it were alive. I thought it was the rambling of a mad cannibal. But now I was looking into the eyes of a 12-year-old girl who spoke like a 1,000-year-old monster. I stepped out of the room and called my old mentor, a psychiatrist. He said it was dissociative disorder, that the girl was trying to escape trauma. But I knew better. I went back to Derek's house and searched everything, looking for anything I'd missed. I found it in the basement, behind that freezer. Another book, older than Derek's journal. It was the journal of the real Mark, the first victim. He wrote about the hike, about finding a cave in the mountains, about walking inside and hearing a voice. A voice that promised him immortality in exchange for his body. Mark refused. Then the voice said, "Then I'll take the one who comes after you." 15 years later, Derek came. He agreed. He gave his body to the silence in exchange for power and immortality. But the silence tricked him. It didn't want his body. It wanted a child's body. Clean, empty, ready to be filled. I drove back to the hospital. The daughter was sitting in the same spot, but now she was smiling. She said I finally understood. She told me she didn't want to cause pain, she just wanted to live. Mark refused, Derek was too weak, but Emma was perfect. She invited the silence in because she wanted the silence to finally end. And now she was there forever. I asked where the real Emma was. She looked at me and whispered that Emma was still inside, that she heard every word I said, and that she was crying because she knew she'd never get out. I drew my gun. I didn't know if I could shoot a child. But I knew if I didn't, the silence would escape and take someone else. And then she said, "Don't shoot. I can give her back. But only on one condition. You bring me a new host. Someone strong, someone pure. Like your brother Mike. But he's already dead. So bring me yourself." I lowered my gun. I couldn't shoot. I couldn't agree. I just stood there and watched her laugh. And in that moment, I understood that the silence doesn't just live in her. It lives in everyone who knows about it. In me. In the wife. In the dog. In everyone who's heard this story. Now you know too. And the silence is part of you.